Welcome to your morning cup with iBenz Academy. I'm Ash.
And I'm Kara. No one's going to know anyway.
Fine.
And we're Kash.
We're Kash.
Everyone gets us confused. They're not going to know we swapped our names.
Well, I guess now they know.
Yeah. Okay, so yes. I'm Ash.
I'm Kara.
And we're Kash.
Could you tell a difference? Let us know in the comments.
Hey, there you go. So today we are talking about shrinking of awareness. So
yes.
Usually we talk about expansion of awareness. Mm-hmm. And what do we mean by expansion of awareness?
Well, there are more things in your awareness field.
Yes.
Literally.
It's true, yeah. You have more data points, a broader perspective.
Mm-hmm. Go from maybe just thinking about life in your little terms of the universe to maybe becoming Gaia and thinking about what does the universe feel like with Gaia.
Or the human collective.
Or your community or your pet, whatever. There's lots of ways to expand your awareness.
Expansion beyond just this time and space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Multiple timelines. Yeah. Lots of ways.
Yeah. So we're talking about the opposite.
The inverse of that.
The inverse of expansion of awareness, which is shrinking of awareness.
Yes. The shrinking of awareness.
So this is something that comes up in life. I would say it's probably quite routine or regular periodically. Sometimes it's for a split moment of time, maybe an afternoon or a day. And sometimes it's for extended periods of time.
Yeah. A lot of times your awareness can shrink when you're having a major life event, whatever that might be. It could also happen when you just really get focused on the ego. And if it's all about me, myself, and I, that's another way that your awareness can shrink. Yeah. And these aren't necessarily bad things. It's just something to be aware of.
Yeah. It can shrink when you're falling in love, right? Mm-hmm. Fall awareness.
Yep. Love is blind.
Yes. It can shrink when you have deep focus on a project. So you see that often, everybody I know who does any type of computer programming, it's zoom. Their awareness just shrinks.
Yep.
They got headphones on and they're just glued to the screen and they have no idea what's going on anywhere else. Or you see this with artists too, when they're working on maybe a new painting or a project, a new creation.
Writing a book.
Writing a book, yeah. Awareness shrinks and they're just focused on that. Mm-hmm. So it's what we do naturally, right? We flow in and out of shrunken and expanded awareness.
Yep. Yeah, and there are a lot of ways that it can also happen, even just part of your daily life. So for example, you mentioned an artist. You could also have your awareness shrunk when you're watching a movie or reading a book or playing a computer game. Projects especially. For me, when I was writing my dissertation, it was very focused. Or playing a computer game, very focused. And, it's fine. Something to be aware of.
Yeah.
But it can also come up with major life events, not just falling in love, but if there's some kind of traumatic event that's happening, maybe you experience the death of a family member or a loved one, that can result in shrinking of awareness. Or if you're going through a major illness or even just flushing even. And also you can have a shrunken awareness having sex. So point is awareness expands and shrinks all the time, right? And it's part of natural daily life, but it's something to be aware of.
Yep, for sure. So what we wanted to look at is how do we set ourselves up for success when we're in that smaller awareness state, when our awareness is shrunk.
Yeah. And I think that to begin with, know that it's temporary and it's okay if it happens.
Yeah.
If you have any charges or feelings about oh, this isn't good, or oh my God, have a look at that. Maybe do the fear processing exercise around it, allow it to express. But also it's natural to go through that state of being. So we can start to set ourselves up for success just by recognizing that it happens and it's part of life on earth.
Yep, for sure. I think that's a big step. And as you recognize it, making sure we cover our bases. So when you're in a state of deep focus, let's say as an artist might be, creating a project, being able to, cover your bases, you've got your water, you're taking your body for walks outside, you're getting exercise, you're eating regularly. Like those are things that will be supportive during that process. And you may need to bring in allies to help you, set an alarm so that oh, wait, it's been 2 hours. I need to go move.
Yes, literally.
Yeah, I've been staring at the screen for too long. Get up and go. Having allies or friends, people who help, make sure that you have a good meal, or if
bringing a cup of tea.
Yeah, bringing a cup of tea. If not directly living with you, there's services for that. People you can call to do deliveries.
Yep.
These things are all available. The Human Collective makes it pretty, I would say, easy for us to cover our bases. We just have to do it.
Yeah. And be aware of it, right? So if, let's say, you're working on a project and you have to shrink your awareness to set yourself up for success around that. So like you said, get your ducks in a row, get your water, your food, and, tell your people, like, okay, I'm going to go in. If I don't come out in 3 hours, come get me. Right? Yeah. I know you might not need it, but it's at least like an opportunity to help you out if you need it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. And then also, making sure that we're doing our daily practice. So taking that time to whatever that might be, meditation, or maybe it's a moving meditation, one of guided exercise of some sort. Making sure that you're doing that, maybe even do it more than what you normally do, and, double down on it. But that's going to also just help make sure that we're set up for success. And to me, that's kind of also like covering your bases. It's just not just your physical body's basis, it's also your energetic field.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do find yourself in like tunnel vision, like it's just so hard to think outside of whatever you're focused on right now, then choose some of the meditations from Inelia Benz that are designed to expand your awareness.
Yeah, do the opposite.
Yeah, do the exact opposite, because it will pull you out of that shrunken awareness, even if it's just for like 10 minutes a day. That's fine. You can go back to your tunnel vision and do what you need to do. Like, that's fine. But even just having that 10 minutes is just so good for your body, your energy body. Have some reprieve and just stretch those muscles a little bit before you snap back into the smaller state of awareness.
Yeah, so. And don't do it alone. Hopefully by now we all have we're working on having, if we don't, but we have our high frequency allies, right? So those people in our lives that we can share awareness with, right?
Yeah.
Let them know what's going on. Let them know that, hey, I'm really focused right now. I'm going, I'm falling in love. So you're gonna have to repeat things to me or
remind me
let
to
me
do
know
things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, so it's just if you share that and don't just go through the experience alone, then already you've got high frequency allies who you are now going to be able to benefit from their awareness, right? Which is essentially, it's expanding your awareness without like taking you fully out of your process of what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're feeling like you're dealing with some kind of trauma, like energetic or emotional or physical, you can keep your allies informed by setting boundaries and telling them what you need. So for example, if you've experienced a death of a family member, usually that's the time where walking on eggshells is actually a very compassionate, good thing to do, because you're raw, right? You need to just talk in quiet, hushed tones and be sensitive and conscientious of other people. And people might not always know that, or we're not really that great at having that kind of etiquette in some of our cultures. So
you might need to expand what does walking on eggshells mean for them. Yeah.
Or even just, hey, you know what? I can't really deal with this right now. I'm going through grief. Yep. So let's talk business in a week, or bring it up with my, assistant or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, you gotta do your best to communicate also, like what will be supportive so you can express that, whatever it is you need to express in a healthy way.
And be aware, like major decisions made in a shrunk awareness, I mean, you're not seeing the whole picture. too. So that is an aspect. And that, I mean, depends on the dynamic and the context. It's good or bad, whatever it is, it depends on the context, right? But if you're making decisions in a shrunken awareness, there's things you aren't aware of, right? There's things you're not seeing just naturally by the nature of it. So if there's things going on and you have maybe a decision that comes up, I would typically try to postpone it unless I have like really amazing allies who I trust and I know I can kind of give myself some time to expand my awareness and to step into that and I feel good and clear on it. Otherwise, I would try to delay making that decision.
Yeah. And sometimes this can happen not necessarily consciously.
Yeah.
Like if we fall into, an ego trigger, usually that results in a shrunken awareness because it's all about the ego, it's all about you. So it's really hard to take other perspectives into consideration. And if you find yourself in a situation where that's it, like you're dealing with a trigger and it's really hard to function and do anything else, so be mindful of that. It's another way to set a boundary and be like, look, I'm super triggered right now. I can't talk about this. We'll come back to it later, right? Just so that when you're communicating with other people, they know and they know how to respond as a result. So sometimes shrunken awareness can come inadvertently.
Yes.
And sometimes we want it consciously, right? Yep. Like to go deep writing a computer program or
writing a book or falling in love or
exactly.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's all important. And some of the at least the ones we've practiced or used over the years when we've had various states of shrunken awareness, some of the meditations we recommend include the unified field theory. Unified field theory. No, not that. Unified field meditation. Yeah. Although the theory might shrink your awareness or expand it, who knows. And also the oneness exercise from Ascension 101. That one's really good because it takes you out of yourself by design.
Yeah.
And that is really awesome if you're stuck in that very small tunnel vision.
And if you want to learn also on like another level of around the expansion or shrinking of your awareness, the relationships course, what is it called, Kara? Do you remember?
Sex, Love, and Soulmates.
Sex, Love, and Soulmates. That one has a section that goes in that talks deeply about the shrinking of the awareness, about the falling in love process. And you really could probably relate that to other aspects of your life when you have a shrinking of awareness.
Absolutely.
So definitely another one to check out.
Yeah, really good recommendation. And in that portion of the class too, it goes into great depth about how for some circumstances, like falling in love, you want it to happen. Yeah. Like you might have a go-to reaction of like, oh no, my awareness is shrinking. I can't let this happen. No, I'm not going to let it happen. It's like, actually, that's not conducive towards the relationship. And Inelia explains in that class why. So sometimes these things just have to carry out and unfold. Yeah. And, just be aware of that. Yeah. So that when it comes, you're not surprised.
Yeah. Give yourself some grace with that.
Yes.
Sometimes at least in my experience, when my awareness isn't as expanded, things might come a little slower. I forget things. I lose focus quickly, and that's okay. That's just, it's normal. But while our awareness is expanded, while you're listening to this podcast and you're being proactive and you're being diligent in your life, this is the time to build your toolbox, right? To understand what this is. So when it does come up for you, because it's inevitable, right? I don't know if you can really avoid it. You'll be able to recognize it and then respond.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I know for me, when I've had shrunken awareness, I was like, what is happening? Like, I don't even feel like me. Like, I was forgetting things, like things I'm usually really good at, like remembering important appointments or the names of classes or whatever. And then all of a sudden, blank. Like, and I'm like, what's going on? What's wrong with me? I didn't even like feel like myself in some ways. But then through good allies and good counsel, had someone, if not you, it might have been Inelia, being like, oh yeah, shrunken awareness. That's what's happening right now. Yeah.
Oh, everything's okay. Yeah. This is fine.
I'm not like just losing my memory or whatever.
Like, why am I broken? I'm not able to do the work I normally do. What's going on?
No, exactly. And that's it. It's not a broken thing.
Exactly.
It's actually a very
healthy, natural thing.
Yeah. But it's good to be aware of. And when we know that our awareness can shrink and expand, we can then choose to do it consciously in a way that's supportive of us.
And some people choose to live in a state of a shrunken awareness, and that's perfectly fine. But also, I think having this awareness is great to understand where they're coming from, because it's inevitable, as we know, like flowing in and out of it is natural for us as humans. However, some people are not. They're staying perpetually more in that shrunken awareness perspective. So now we can understand what's going on for them, so we don't have expectations that are beyond what they're capable of.
Yeah, like
in that moment.
If you're talking to an alcoholic who's constantly drunk, I mean, you're going to know pretty well that their awareness will be very tiny all the time.
A gamer, who's like playing 24/7, they've got a one-track mind, right?
Yeah, and that type of extreme isn't necessarily healthy, right?
No.
I mean, when you're getting into addictions, whether it's a computer game or alcoholism or whatever, it's not good. It's like a full-on 100% shrunken awareness, because that's ultimately what can destroy relationships, right? If you're just thinking about getting your fix, whatever it is, it's so shrunken you're not taking other things into consideration, like your health or your family or paying the bills, whatever it might be.
Well-being of your physical body.
Yeah. So that's another extreme. On the flip side, we have heard these stories of people who are living in such an expanded state of awareness, like gurus, or I don't know, I think there's words for that in Hindi that I don't know. But
like sages of the East.
Yeah, like these quote avatars, right, that are just always in an enlightenment state. They have a whole team like supporting them, like making sure they're clothed and bathed and they have food and their body moves and all these things. And it's the same thing, right? Like you need to have your bases covered. You need a support team, and that culture is structured in a way to make that happen. So when you know you're going to go either into an altered state of expansion or shrinking of awareness, be mindful. Like, what are you going to do to set yourself up for success? Yeah. And then you don't have to worry about it as much, right? You can just go in more depth or know that things are taken care of, and it might be easier for you. Who knows? Yeah.
There's something that I have is a power object bracelet, and it's actually one that Inelia made. And if I remember correctly, you might have to help me on this, but I believe it's bringing in the power of the mystic.
Yes.
And so when I wear this bracelet, it's typically when I'm doing things that are an expanded awareness, like we're creating a podcast. So I want to be expanded in my awareness. I want to be able to tap into the human collective. What is the human collective interested in? And, asking questions about, or what's on the, what's going on in the field, right?
Yeah.
And so typically I'll wear this when I'm doing different types of mystical work, or the example I just gave with the podcast. And instantly, because it's a power object, because it's been created with that energy, with that chi, now when I wear it, it starts to draw me into an expanded awareness state. It's just naturally. It's amazing how it works, right? And it's hard to resist it. Although there might be part of me that's like, wait a minute, we're not ready for that yet. We were focusing on this little thing.
I like that thing over there.
Yeah. But it's, that's another way that you fill your toolbox, not just with, the exercises and the knowledge and the data around it, but also you can have things like power objects, make them available for yourself, that you can tune into it and have it when you need it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know a lot of writers, especially, who have like their spot where they go when they write, and it puts them in that altered state. It's like their chair is a power object. The way the desk is set up, they have a whole ritual. They need the tea, they need their pen, they need their, all their apps turned off. Like all of that is ritual to get you into a certain altered state. And altered state, what does that mean? It's our general field of awareness, whatever the default is, changes, and it can shrink, it can expand. So for that artist or that writer, they sit in their space and do their thing, and that allows their awareness to shrink. Just like you wearing your bracelet allows it to expand. But all of those are mystical tools that we can use for ourselves and help us do what we need to do, which is super cool, I think.
It is. Yeah, it is super cool because it's like, you know, if you're going to go, let's say fishing, you're not just going to go out to the edge of the ocean, say, all right, I'm going to catch myself a fish, and you got nothing on you. You know, you're going to have a pole, you're going to have bait, you're going to have maybe some extra line, you're going to have some hooks, you're going to have all these different things that will depend on the situation you'll be in.
Right. Know about what the tides are. Maybe people have good spots they like to go fishing in.
Right, exactly.
You don't work alone. You talk to your fisherman fellows and be like, hey, where's a good spot?
Yeah, maybe get on a boat and have somebody charter the boat for you. It's like there's all these aspects of it to set yourself up for success. And when looking at a state of having expanded awareness, it's a similar thing. So set ourselves up for success, and that's exactly what we're talking about. And power objects are just a part of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if somebody wants to learn about power objects,
where should they go,
in a more focused way?
Where should you go?
You should go to iBenzAcademy.com.
Oh, why's that?
Because we have a Power Objects workshop starting. Well, actually, we're kicking off our Power Objects workshop tomorrow.
Yay!
Yeah,
so exciting.
It is super exciting. So our first workshop is sold out. So we're kicking that off tomorrow. Everybody's been gathering materials, getting ready to make our power objects.
Yeah, it's so cool. And even just what you explained about the power object you're wearing now, like basically you're going to learn how to do that.
Yes.
And not only that, but learn from Inelia.
Yes.
Directly. And you get to see literally how she's weaving mystical energies into these objects and the whole methodology behind it, and you see it unfold from beginning to end, and it's just so cool. And you get to follow along and map to her and maybe put your own spin on it or copy through and through. Regardless, it's just amazing.
So you could choose a topic like you want to create a power object for expansion of awareness, or you want to create a powered object that resonates at your source frequency, you know? And I mean, whatever it is, the possibilities are endless. It's like the only limitation would be your imagination in those scenarios, right? And you can create those to support you throughout your day, or you can create them and support others and sell them as power objects to people and have it as more people on the planet supercharging their life in these high frequency ways.
That would be so cool. But it's really limitless. I mean, I think Inelia was asking Larry the other day, like, what would it be like to have a power object for fishing? You know, like make a hook a power object or some other kind of thing. Like, how would that change Larry's fishing? Yeah, like, what would happen? I don't know. I want to find out.
Yeah,
it's like that. What happens if you make a power object for your writing or for your singing? Like, whatever it is, it's, I mean, the endless possibilities. So we're really excited to see what our students are going to come up with, and also what we'll create together too. Yeah,
because we'll create a power object together. So everyone will make 3 power objects in the workshop, and then the group will make a power object as a collective together. And of course, this information is shared from Inelia and information she has through her lineages, and which you know right away, then that means the quality of the information is going to be extremely solid and really good. So we're excited for that. But although our February workshop has sold out, we have offered now a March workshop. So that's going to be starting in the next few weeks.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So awesome. And power objects are one of those ways that we can infuse our life with the intention we want to create for ourselves. Whether it's expansion of awareness or getting into an altered state or any of the other examples we shared. And having a very clean, clear methodology that you can replicate. That's another way you can set yourself up for success. You'll know what to do and what not to do. Yes. Very important when working with mystical energies.
Yep. Yeah. And you'll get to do it with Kash because we're facilitating. So we'll be there with you.
Yay!
Supporting, helping answer questions, giving guidance in the process.
Doing it together. It's going to be so cool.
Exactly.
So exciting.
So go to iBenzacademy.com. and you'll find the Power Objects workshop where you can enroll. You can also go to our Telegram for iBenz Academy, and there's tons of links and videos and things available there as well if you want more information or you want to register.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you there.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.